Now, AJ, before we get into what we've been watching this week, I'm curious about a story I heard because Lester told me about that concert you went to,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you want to talk about that on the podcast or not, but it sounded like an interesting story.
Yeah, no, it is an interesting story. So like the day before I had like gone and run 6 miles. I did some serious leg workouts. Like I did some leg lifts like 650 times. Uh and I did the full body workout that day too. And then I went for a hike that day too. So
Damn.
yeah, I did a lot that day. And then that night there was a concert that I went to, and so I'm hanging out, and my legs just I couldn't use my thigh muscles, like the hamstrings and everything. I just couldn't use them, and I was just standing with my legs like straight, right? Which is a
Mm-hmm.
bad idea. I learned this as a kid, like you don't do that. But it just I got a little nauseous, so I got nervous with that. And then I just like I felt kind of weird. And then before I knew it, I was on the floor and people were looking at me. And like yeah, and they were like, they were really nice. They were all so helpful, really cool people, like really, great people. They had a medical person there too who took care of me. But like, so it turns out I fell down and they tried to help me get back up, and then I fell down again. And so I was down there for a minute, and I had like a little, almost like a daydream while I was down there. Like I was like almost talking and stuff like to myself. Like, and then I just like in the middle of it while like kind of dreaming and dozing off, like I woke up and I'm just surrounded by people who are just like, not freaking out, but they were like, oh my God, what's going on? This guy, and everybody's like just concerned. And I was just like, oh my, that's never happened in my life. It was first time ever. And it had to like at my first ever concert. I'd never been to a concert before. So it was one hell of an experience, man. That sucked. But
So you actually kind of like blacked out for a second. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Man, that's
The oxygen
crazy.
just left my brain or whatever it was. Like, I don't know.
And you were there on a date too, weren't you?
Yeah. She was super
Man,
cool. She was concerned, yeah.
were you embarrassed though? Like when you woke up and realized what was going on?
Yeah, for sure. I knew everybody thought I was on drugs. They must have thought.
Like this
Yeah,
guy's messed up.
for sure, yeah.
What concert was it?
It was like an Australian band. I don't know who they were, but they sounded American when like everybody, like they sounded American when they sang. So I thought they were American at first. And then they were pretty cool. They were chill, They even stopped the concert when I like passed out. They waited for
Really?
me to like be okay. Super cool. But they were funny. Like they were making jokes throughout that before. So yeah, there were some chill people.
It wasn't like Men at Work, was it?
No, not that. But yeah, like I was sitting outside, there were only 20 minutes left of the concert, and like I hadn't eaten since like 11:30 a.m. So that was part of it. They gave me some snacks, some water. We called an Uber and got out of there, and that was pretty much it.
You said you learned as a kid like you're not supposed to stand with like your legs like locked like that. I
Yeah.
gotta say that's one piece of wisdom like my mom never gave me, which is surprising because she always was like, the person that's like, oh, don't eat before you swim and a million things like that. I never heard the like, oh, if you stand with your legs locked, you might like pass out or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, yeah, Lester told me that story and I'm like, what? That sounds crazy.
Yeah. What a time for it to happen too. My first concert with somebody I was like, like yeah, so it was just weird.
I was also I'm surprised to hear it was your first concert because like I've never been to a concert, but I have a good excuse and I grew up in like a small town in Montana and like we didn't really even get live bands coming through, and if we did, it would have been some country band I wouldn't have been interested in. But you grew up in Houston, I would have thought for sure like you had been to a concert or two in your day.
I avoided such things just because like my perception of concerts was like it was hectic and chaotic and just
Right.
so much going on. I'm an introvert, so I don't like
Yeah.
those kinds of scenes. And I mean, you hear about what happens at concerts, Travis Scott concert, all that stuff. So it's like, just it's not it doesn't seem like it's for me. But this was like a really chill one. Everybody was just kind of like swaying and, you know, just really chill, you know, like it was fine.
That's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think like even now that like I'm in Portland and I have the option to go to concerts, like I think if I went to like a really loud rock show, all the people would just annoy me, like them singing along and stuff. Like I don't know, I think that would just annoy me. Like the one concert I think I would maybe enjoy is like a Hans Zimmer concert or something where you don't have to worry about that. And you're just like
Yeah.
sit down
Yeah.
and listen to a bunch of kick-ass orchestra music. I think that I could enjoy, but
Yeah. Well, this wasn't too loud or anything. It wasn't like that in that way. But I mean, that is a concern of mine too. I don't want it to be like blasted, you know, just my eardrums and just everything about me just alert and nervous, you know.
yeah, when I see like concert footage with like just a large crowds of people and they're all singing at the top of their lungs along, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I know myself, I know that would annoy me, so like it doesn't appeal to me, but like
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people love mosh pits. That stuff is wild to me. And you see it all the time on like Twitter and stuff, like where it goes haywire, somebody's just
right.
throwing punches randomly. Like, yeah.
I never understood how like that a mosh pit thing even like started. Like, who was the first one to be like, "Oh, this seems like a good idea. We'll get, start bumping into each other really hard." And like, I don't know. It just seems like the silliest thing.
Somebody with like issues, like anger
It
problems or
seems
something.
like, yeah. All of our mosh pitting fans are yelling at us right now.
Yeah.